Hello, we're the Bowden Families. I'm Jay. I'm Keaton.
And Amanda.
And thank you for coming tonight. Really appreciate you guys.
And we're here today because 7 years ago our son was hit by a pickup truck and he sustained a very severe traumatic brain injury, which he lost almost everything cognitively. He's had to relearn how to read and write, and what he's gotten back has been very minimal. He has very substantial issues that we deal with on a daily basis, and I had to quit my job to stay home with him. So he always has somebody with him. It's affected the whole family. Our oldest son is not with us anymore because he's in Japan, but he was a major role in helping us after coming home with the brain injury. He quit all his sporting activities just so he could come home and help us. And as a result, he's in the Army now, and he himself has diagnosed other soldiers with brain injuries because of living with this. And our youngest son has almost had to step up and be an older brother in some respects. We have issues like he's very impulsive. He's like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. His behavior is just instantaneous. And so one of the issues that we have is he has a PCA right now, and as everybody knows, the PCA services were being cut, and we almost lost it, but thankfully we still have it. We only lost a little bit from what we used to have. The problem I'm having is they said that there is a new program coming out for behavioral problems that could help him, but the problem is they're wanting to take this away before they have the other program already started. And that's the problem we were running into. And we can't have him not with anything. He goes to the Courage Center. He's been going to the Courage Center for 6 years. He goes twice a week, and then somebody comes to the home once a week. So he's dealing with the Courage Center 3 times a week. He's been doing this for 6 years now, and he has made remarkable progress. Even though it's been very, very slow, he has made some progress as far as where he's not hitting anybody anymore, and he's learned to not tell everybody how he's going to kill himself. So we have made remarkable progress, but there still are issues that we deal with all the time.
Some of the issues as a dad that I struggle with is the major cuts to the Health and Human Services. Our goal is to be self-supporting, where we don't have to rely on the state. But it's hard for me as a head of a household I'm working 20 extra hours a week because Amanda can't work because we have to have somebody home with him. And with some of these major cuts, I fear, it's going to resort to, one, all the programs being cut for him. Where does that leave, as a dad, where does that leave my family? The biggest fear I've got is him having to live in a county jail or state institution because the fact that the programs that are in place for him are working. They're keeping him on the straight path. And we've met so many people through our 7 years of working with other families with the kids and brain injuries. We met some adults that have been through the correction for different things, for alcohol and drug abuse. It cost us, on average, a month, $300 a month to support him versus $600 a day in a correctional institution. And that's my fear, is not just for my son, but for everybody, for the 100,000 Minnesotans that live out there. You cut some of these services, that it's life-threatening at that point. If they cut more of the MA from you, we spend $1,500 a month on meds. I can't afford that because we're a one-income family, one vehicle family.
Thankfully, the MA covers that.
between the state and the feds, if they start cutting more, where does it leave him? I mean, we're already in the poorhouse trying to support him. A lot of families are in our shoes. And I'd just like to see some, I know cuts have to be made, but certain areas of health and human services, I know other avenues we could take. Like Amanda was saying with the one program, you're going to cut his PCA services before the other program's even up and running. Where does that leave us? That's some of my fears and concerns. And I know we go down every year to the state capitol and help push issues. And I know Amy's told me a couple times, let's look at it a different angle, and it's worked. But we just like your support on helping the survivors and the families. I mean, here we struggle to get services, we have to drop below poverty level. I mean,
when he was 12 years old, he got so explosive, he was picking my husband and my 16-year-old son off the floor. He was just a little tiny kid. So he's like he's like superhuman when he gets emotional, and it's all brought about by the frustration of him not being able to do the things he used to be able to do, and he remembers that, and that's what causes so much frustration for him.
We just hate to see some of the services that actually help survivors just strive to be normal, have a normal life. Sure, they may not ever be able to get out in the community and have live a normal life like everybody else does, whether it's in a group home or assisted living, but it gives them a sense of being a human, a citizen in our community. And that was one of his biggest goals when he turned 18, is to vote. I mean, it's like, we didn't know 7 years ago if he would ever make it this far, but he's here, sitting right in front of us. Your turn, Lynn.
I'm Keaton, and I cannot do all the things I used to do. It is aggravating because to do fun things anymore. I cannot do fun things anymore by myself.
And why is it?
Because of my brain injury, how much it caused, and it brought me so far. But I wish I was my normal self still.
See, we can't let him go to the store by himself. There's too many shiny objects where he can get distracted. He's very vulnerable to any stranger coming up. He's always got mom and dad, PCA, with him. I mean, here's a 19-year-old young man that's stuck with his parents for a long time. And some of the services, if they weren't cut, maybe it would give him a little bit more freedom to explore the world. Anything else you'd like to say? We'd just like to thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for being here. I have a question. You talking about that PCA, they want to transition you off of PCA and put you onto a new program. Is that, who is that that's saying that, and have they talked about a timeline for this other program?
The county worker said that there was a behavioral program in the works, but she had no timeline on when it was to come about or anything.
With our PCA, our hours went from 40 to 30 hours a week.
This was
just recently. Last year, before the budget cuts,
yep,
we were 40 hours
yep,
a week. We could have our PCA 7 days a week working with him at different times. And the PCA works with him on anything from personal hygiene to working outside, doing things, teaching him responsibility. Okay, you're doing this, you don't just walk away, be responsible for cleaning up your mess and stuff, to being cut to 30 hours.
And keeping him calm.
And keeping him calm. I mean, everything, she documented everything she did with him to 30 minutes. We were notified last month that we only need now qualify for 30 minutes a day.
And we didn't get that because I did fight.
30 minutes a day.
Of
PCA hours.
30 minutes.
So, I mean, it's like...
Thankfully, we weren't cut that much because I did have to fight for that. I did have to fight for that, but...
I must have been wondering a little bit, what were you before and now
40 hours a week to 30 hours a week to 30 minutes a day.
But now, because
Now,
I fought
because
for
we're-
it, I'm at, I think it's 20 hours.
About 28 to 25 hours a week.
I think it's about 20 hours.
But
a week.
it's the appeal process, you get the notice, it's all of a sudden, he has anxiety issues now, we have high blood pressure, because it's like, how do we, now what are we gonna do?
And she gave us she was a big break for us because we deal with him every day, every waking minute of the day, and just having her come in, and he gets so frustrated having mom and dad with him all the time, but just having somebody else come in and watch him for a while or take him somewhere was a big relief for him and us.
Oh, he looks forward to going to with his PCA. It's like, I'm getting rid of mom and dad.